Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Saiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Ado Jayamudire Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamastoke Bhakti Bhojanesti Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langeti Girim Yadkapatam Vande Shri Gurun Dinadarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangasya Parshadam Nay Sankirtana Praye Yajandhi Sumedasam. Welcome to Srimad Bagavatam session, Canto 11, Chapter 3, text number 35. Shri Pipalayana Vacha Sthiti Udbhava Pralaya Heturasya Yat Swapna Jagara Susuptishu Sadbahischa Dehena Driyashu Hrudayani Charanti Sanjivitani Tatavehi Param Narendra. Word by word, meaning Shri Pipalayana Vacha, Shri Pipalayana's sthiti of the creation, Udbhava maintains Pralaya and destruction, hetuh the cause, ahetuh itself without cause, Asya of this material universe, Yat which Swapna in dream, Jagara wakefulness, Suptishu in deep sleep or unconsciousness, Sat which exists, Bahicha and external to them as well, Deha the material bodies of living entities, Indriya the senses, Asu life force, Hridayani minds, Charanti Akriyana by which Sanjivitani given life that Avehi is now Param to be the supreme Nara Indra of working. Translation purport given by devotee disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Pipalayana said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the creation, maintenance and destruction of this universe, yet he has no prior cause. He pervades the various states of wakefulness, dreaming and consciousness, deep sleep, and also exists beyond them. By entering the body of every living being as the super soul, he enlivens the body, senses, life force and material activities, and thus all the subtle and gross organs of the body begin their functions. But you king know that personality of Godhead to be the supreme. Purport. In the previous verse, King Nimi inquired about various aspects of the absolute truth, namely Narayana, Brahman and Paramatma. Now the sage Sri Pipalayana explains these three features of the absolute truth in the same order in which the king mentioned them. Sthiti Udbhava Pralaya Hetuh refers to Supreme Personality of Godhead, refers to the Supreme Personality of God, who expands himself as the eternal Purusha incarnations, Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Kshirodaksha Vishnu, as described in the Bagavatam 131. Jagrahe Paurusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadivihi Sambhutam Sodasa Kalam Adoloka Shirikshaya In the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of Krishna incarnation and manifested all the ingredients of the material creation, and thus at first there was a creation of the 16 principles of material creation. This was the purpose of creating the material universe. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana is mentioned here as hetuh, or the supreme cause of all the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the cosmic situation. Still there is no cause. The Lord himself is ahetuh, as expressed in the Brahma Samhita, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, and being the eternal absolute truth, he has no cause of himself. The word ahetuh has also been explained by Srila J. Goswami to indicate that Supreme Lord has his original form as Krishna in his own transcendental abode called Krishna Loka, since Krishna is always engaged in his blissful pastimes in the company of his eternally liberated associates. He is aloof from the affairs of this world, which is created by the external events known as Maya. Therefore, it is stated, Jagrahe Paurusham Rupam. The Lord explains himself as Narayana and Vishnu to facilitate the grass illusion and gradual rectification of the conditioned souls. The Lord's aloofness from the material creation is also described in the Vedas. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. The absolute truth has nothing to do, since everything is done self-sufficiently by its multipotencies. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed out that even though the Supreme Lord Krishna is ahetuh, causeless and aloof from the cause of material creation, the Lord is also described in this verse as hetuh, or the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the material manifestation, because he expands himself as Paramatma, or the Super Soul, who acts as the prime mover of the cosmic manifestations. Om Agna Atimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurudam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Swapitam Yena Bhutane Swayam Kadamahyam Radhi Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gauravattana Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama. So this verse says that Krishna is the creator, maintainer and destroyer, and he is the cause of all causes, as in Brahma Samhita says, Sarva Karana Karanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajantam. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karanam Karanam Advaitam Achitam Anadi Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanamsa Yadesh Durlama Durlama Atma Vaktu Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham. So Krishna has multifarious, multiple forms and multiple names and multiple incarnations. So as we all know that Krishna resides in his own abode, where his loved ones, his consort, Krishna's gopis, gopas, elderly women, cows, trees, plants and all other entourage will always be along with Krishna, and Krishna never leaves his own place, which is Goloka Vrindavan. So, but question comes, when if Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan, and who is going to maintain all this? But Shastras say he is the hetuh, ahetuh. Hetuh means he is the cause of all causes and also without a cause. But he doesn't have any cause. That we should always make a point, that he doesn't have any cause. Krishna doesn't have any parents, or Krishna, there is no such cause that Krishna is born from such and such persons. It's not at all. But to fulfill the desires of devotees, to relieve devotees from the clutches of demonic persons like Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, and so etc. etc. he takes the incarnation, or he takes avatar. Avatar means coming down from the spiritual world to material world. That's called avatar. Why he is called avatar? Because he only takes the incarnations. So when Krishna expands himself as Balaram, and Balaram expands himself as the Chaturmukha, the four plenary expansions, then Sankarsana expands into Narayana, and Narayana again into second Sankarsana, and from that second Sankarsana, the Mahavishnu he expands as Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu expands himself as Karanodayakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodayakshaya Vishnu, and Shirodayakshaya Vishnu. Like this, three Vishnus are expanded, and these three Vishnus are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the expansions and expansion of expansions. Swamsa, Kala from Kala. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Indiyani Vagyakulam. So Krishna takes incarnations to protect the devotees and to give pleasure to the devotees. So here hetuh means Krishna, we have a cause because we have fallen down from the spiritual world. We are Chuta, but Krishna is Achyuta. Achyuta means never falls down, but we fall down due to our false ego, or due to our entanglement in this material world. For gratifying our senses, we fall down, but Krishna never falls down. Though he comes down from the spiritual world, Vaikuntha or Goloka, to this Bulok, the three modes of material nature, or the three kleshas, never ever influence him. He is not influenced by them, and he is not under the control of them, but they are under the control of Krishna. And we are also under the control of Krishna's external energy, the spiritual, Durga. We are under the control, but he is not under the control of anyone. Everybody is under his control. That we should make a point. We should understand all this. And he is not controlled by anyone, and he is not, and there is no such thing called greater than Krishna or equal to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita also, it says that there is no such person or no such thing is called which is beyond Krishna or equal to Krishna. Nobody is that. So that's why even though if he comes to the material world, everything is under his control, and he is Sachitananda Sarupa wherever he goes and wherever he gets incarnates. He is always Sachitananda Sarupa. He has that qualities of Sat, Shashvitam, Chit, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Shishwara Paramaha Krishnaha Sat Chitananda Vigraha Anadiradim Govinda Sarvakanagam. He is the cause of all causes, but he doesn't have any cause. Like this Durga is compared to jail, prison. But when the president or prime minister of the country comes to the jail, we should not think that the president is also in the jail and prime minister is also in the jail. They come to deliver the conditioned souls. They come to deliver the criminals out of their own mercy. Similarly, Krishna also comes to this material world to deliver these Badatmas, to deliver these conditioned souls. So, the foolish people think when Krishna comes into the material world, they think he is also like a normal person. He is also a normal person, but he has some little power, some supreme power, they think. No, that's not, that's totally negated. We totally condemn that. But Krishna, wherever he comes and wherever he gets incarnated, wherever he incarnates, he is always Sachitananda Sarupa, and nobody controls him, and nothing can dare ever come near to him. They ever comes near to the place of Krishna where he resides, except the pure devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are totally given up their lives, just like gopis. They gave up their own husbands just to please Krishna, just to hear the transcendental sound vibration from the Venu of Krishna in Vrindavan. When Krishna plays his flute under the Kadamba tree, all the gopis, whatever their condition may be, whatever their position may be, and whoever they may be around them, they just leave the place. They just drop that job and they just throw it off and they rush to the place of Krishna, and they want to share their feelings, their thoughts, their expressions in front of Krishna. And though Krishna wantedly, deliberately, Krishna wants to ill-treat them, rag them in different manners, saying that how come you grossed us, or they are taking association from me, although you are a very responsible dharmapatnis. What your dharmapatis will think about you if you come in the midnight, that is in the midnight, if you come, if you are taking my association, what Krishna, what your husbands may think. Still they say, whatever they may think and whatever the consequences we may face, we just want to be always with you, and you are the life and soul for us. Like one great Acharya sang that song, you are my life and soul, Jivane Radha Krishna Prana Mora. So it says, Radha Krishna is my prana, they are my life and soul, and nobody is there, nobody is my life and soul except you the divine couples. So here when King Nimi inquired about the various aspects of the absolute truth, namely Narayana and Paramatma and Bhagavan, Srila Pipalayana explains, one of the Navayogendras, explains about the three features of the absolute truth in the same order in which King mentioned them: Sthiti, Udbhava, Pralaya, Hetuh. That means creation, maintenance and destruction of the Supreme, refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bagavatam, first canto itself, Sukha Muni has explained Sri Bhagavan Vacha Janma Dasya Yataha Anyavad. Janma Dasya Yataha. That means he is the creator, maintainer and destroyer. And he is Swarad. He is independent from all. Nobody is not dependent on anybody. And he is cognizant. He knows everything. Before, after, yesterday, today, tomorrow, everything he knows. He is cognizant of all the activities. And nothing goes without his knowledge. That is why he is called cognizant. So here Mahavishnu, Garbhodasaya Vishnu, Kshirodaksh Vishnu, the triple Purusha incarnations. Krishna expands himself into triple Purusha incarnations. It is called Purusha incarnations. There are prominent incarnations, but there are multifarious incarnations. Among them, there are very, very prominent are Purusha avatar, Leela avatar, Guna avatar, Shakti Avesha avatar, Yuga avatar, Manvantara avatar. So these Purusha avatars are three: Karmanodayaka, Garbhodayaka, and Kshirodayaka Vishnu. And Kshirodayaka Vishnu resides in the heart of all the living beings. In the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnate and manifested all the ingredients of the material creation. And thus, at first, there was a creation of the 16 principles of material action. So, in the beginning, Vishnu has created these 16 principles of creation. This is for the purpose of creating material universe. So, why this material universe is being created? In first canto, I think in second chapter, Krishna says, Sukumani explains to Parashit Maharaj in one sloka, one verse, that this material universe is created for the conditioned souls to stay here and get trained so that they can promote to the spiritual planets, and there they can exhibit their devotional service since they are trained in this material universe. So that is why this material universe is created, because therefore in the spiritual world, if one wants to enter into the spiritual world, or the eligibility to enter into the spiritual world is, one has to be pure in all aspects, one has to be pure in all gunas, one has to be ajata shatru, one has to be very titikshava, karunika, suhrutam, sarvadehinam. One should have all these qualities of a sadhu. Then only you can enter into the spiritual world. So all these things can be trained only in this material world. So this is a place where Lord has created, Vishnu has created this material world to get trained. The training is for how to serve the Lord Krishna in the spiritual world. That is why this material world has been created for the conditioned souls to become Nitya Baddhas, to become the liberated souls. In Bhagavad Gita also 7.5, it says that Apreyam itastu anyam prakrutim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. The conditioned living entities desire to engage in sense gratification with their material senses. Manaha sastindriyani prakrutistani karshati. Thus the creation of the material world becomes necessary. In fact, the material cosmic manifestation continues to exist because of the desires of the conditioned souls to exploit it. Yayedam dharyate jagat. The government must create a present to accommodate those citizens who are inclined to criminal activity. There is no need for any citizen to live in the obnoxious conditions of the prison, but because a certain portion of the population is inclined towards antisocial behavior, the prison becomes necessary. In a higher sense, the prisoners themselves can be considered as the hetuh, or the cause for the construction of the prison. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands his internal potency according to his own desire to increase the ananda or transcendent bliss of himself and his pure devotees, but he manifests the material universe in response to the illicit desires of the conditioned souls to live a life of sense gratification in willful forgetfulness of him. So here we have to understand that a small story. From this story, I think we all can catch or understand that if a father has a son, and a father is a very respectable man, and one fine day his friends comes and meets him to have a conversation with him. While both were conversing, and the child creates a lot of disturbances and creates a lot of trouble, so that they cannot converse each other, his father and father's friend. So the father gives some warning first and second time, and third time when the son doesn't accept, when the son doesn't behaves properly with his father, the misbehavior or disobedience to his father, then the father takes his son and puts him in a separate room and locks it and tells his son, you do whatever you want in this room, but don't disturb me here. Here we are having a conversation, and here I have my own personal transactions or personal dealings with my friends, and I have paternal relationships, and I have servitor relationship, and I have very obedient, shanti, peaceful relations. I also have madhurya relationships here in my house. But if you want to be a trouble giver, you do go to, if you want to fulfill your own desires, and if you want to if you have sense gratification, or those things will not happen here. You go to that separate room and do it whatever you want. That room is called this material world, and that is called this bhautika prakriti, material nature, where we have come here, we have fallen from the spiritual world, and we were disobedient to our father, and we want to be boss over there. So nobody can become boss in this spiritual world except Krishna. So that's why we have been sent here to deal whatever we wish to do here. But unfortunately, our thoughts, our wishes, and our feelings, and our happiness, the pleasurable moments cannot be fulfilled, because for everything there is a line drawn here in this material world also. Say, suppose if you want to have very palatable dishes unlimitedly, then definitely there is some restrictions. Your body doesn't allow, your system doesn't allow. You may leads to several diseases. So your stomach may get upset. And also, if you want to have a lot of sense gratification, and for that separate body is given, not in this human body. There is a restriction for the human beings. You can have sense gratification, but there is a limit. That too only to beget children and make them Krishna conscious children and nurture them in Krishna consciousness. That is why this human body is given. But for other living beings like monkeys and pigeons and all those species, they can have a lot of sense gratification. That is why they have taken those birth. But for the human beings, there is some restrictions, especially for Grahastha life. So remaining time also you can also balance your body and soul by having a constructive schedule, or the reasonable schedule, or the schedule which is given, or the ideologies and tattva given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We can refer that, and we can mold our activities across how, especially in 7th canto, Prahalad Maharaj says, this graham is andakupam, he says. This is asat gruha, he says asat gruha. This is not a permanent one. So better come out from this material world and takes the shelter of Haripada. Take the shelter of Haripada. So then definitely you will be released from the clutches of Maya. So this material world is that separate room, and we are locked in that room, and we can do whatever nonsense we want. But while trying to do that nonsense, we will get trapped by Maya, and we will be punished severely here, because Durga Mata is the superintendent of this prison. So, for another example is given that when the citizen disobeys the state laws, he will be punished and penalized by the state government, and he will be put in jail. So then he becomes criminal. So for them only the jail is created. Only just because of them this prison is created. For the obedient citizens, there is another world which is called the spiritual world, where they are obedient to their father. All the citizens are obedient to their father, and they carry out the orders of the father, and they try their maximum level to give contentment to their father, and so they will not be that's how they will be escaped from this prison house. That is called the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the spiritual potency of the Lord. Finally, the statement of Dehena Driyasu Hrudayani Charanti Yena Sanjivitani can be understood to refer to the Paramatma feature of the Lord when the Lord expands himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the third of the three Vishnu features, and enters the heart of every living entity, and the gross and subtle organs of the body become enlivened for the continuing the chain of the fruitive activity called karma. So there are three aspects of realization called Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. In first canto, I think second chapter, it is explained that Tad Vijnanartam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan, is that sloka verse comes that the three are, the first one is Jyoti Swarupa. Jyoti Swarupa is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it is only a partial realization, like that it is the Jyoti or the what you can say, the Prakasha or the light comes from the spiritual body of Krishna is called Jyoti, but these particular students or the persons of this realization, Brahman realization, thinks that the Jyoti itself is Krishna, the Jyoti itself is supreme. No. So unless or otherwise we have sun god, the Jyoti never comes, the light never comes, the illumination doesn't happen. So the Paramatma realization is just like a sun disk. That's also a partial realization that everyone, these students or these spiritualists meditate on the localized Paramatma in the heart. In everybody's heart there is a Paramatma. As Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, Krishna expands himself in as Paramatma. And these persons will meditate on this Paramatma and they think that everyone is Lord. So they think they keeps the Jivatma and Paramatma on the same level. And above this, beyond this, there is another realization, which is the supreme realization, the Bhagavan realization, that there is a sun planet, there is a sun disk, and there is inside that sun planet, if one enters, there is a deity called Vivaswan, and there the sun resides as a supreme person in the sun planet. Similarly, in Goloka Vrindavan, there is a supreme person, there is divine couple, that Krishna, Radha Krishna, and Krishna is residing there. This is called Bhagavan realization. You can also take an example of a hill. From the far, we can see that the hill cannot be seen accurately, but we can see only the clouds. If we go a little bit nearer to the hills, then we can see there is a hill. And if we go still further and go very near to the hill, then we can see plants, the trees, boulders. So many things are there upon the hill. And also we can see some people also residing in that hill, and there is a temple, and also we can see there is a person in the temple, that is Bhagavan, that is realization, that is the absolute realization. So Bhagavad Gita also says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matva Sarvam. These points have been explicitly clarified in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as in the opening verse, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadasya Yata Yatan Janmadasya Yaton Vyad Itaratas Charteshu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram.